Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to those who are new here. So today I'm using the Glimmer of the month for March 25 as well as the small die of the month for March 25 from Spellbinders. These lend themselves to, well, all of the kits this month lend themselves to sort of Mother's Day, Father's Day inspired projects. So I'm using the, can't remember what it's called, I've got part of the, is it Fishtails? Fairways and Fishtails, I think is what it's called. Anyway, it's the small die of the month. And I'm also, like I say, I'm going to use the Glimmer of the month for the sentiments. It's just sentiments in there. There's a whole bunch of sentiments, like strips, and you cut them out all at once. And you also get the mom, dad, and mum sentiments in there. So again, they've got die cuts. The thing I liked about that is that the mum, and dad are one foil plate, and it die cuts in one piece as well, so it's just really handy. So what I've done is I've got my Ultinew sticky grid mat stuck to my Tim Holtz glass media mat and I've popped all the die cuts. I cut them out in white cardstock. I think it's mixed media cardstock. It's just a nice cardstock, and it's just a local stationer's one. So I started with Rusty Hinge for the hat and the one part of the fish, and then I'm taking Wild Honey for the second layer on the fish, and then I'm also going to use some rustic wilderness words for his jacket or top, sweatshirt, whatever you want to call it. And I had to go a little bit on this one. I think some of my ink pads are probably a bit dry, so I probably need to get some re-inkers, but hey ho. I kept building up the colour and it worked fine. I wanted a sort of a more muted, manly kind of look. So for the trousers, I'm going to use Uncharted Mariner, which again, this is just a cool blue. I love it. It's kind of like a jeans kind of look, or denim kind of colour. And even though there is a faded jeans, isn't there? I've just thought that. But anyway, so yeah, got the blue on there for the trouser pants. and then I'm going to take some, what's next? Black soot. So black soot I'm going to use for his boots, the fish line, I believe, which is this skinny piece here. And there's two types of fishing line. There's one that will hold the fish, which is what we're going to do with this one, and there's another one that kind of looks like it's gone in the water, sort of like it's in front of him. So you can have the way that this dude stands can be either slightly off to the side or facing front, depending on how you use the fish line, which I thought was very clever. Then I'm going to take some antique linen for the I believe this is for the for the skin and the hook and the bucket handle, the little lunch pail as well. The hook I didn't actually land up using because I had the fish, so you could have a line that had a hook on it, or you could have a line with a fish on it. So and then Lost Shadow is for the bucket and the top of the what's that thing called, the lunch box. So I will get that on there. Oh no, it's not, it's just for the pail. Hickory Smoke is for the lunchbox top and the little bit of the bucket that will sort of show you the inner part of the bucket, if that makes sense, because it's slightly darker. And then Frayed Burlap is going to be for my the main fairway, I guess is the word. So this long strip that you cut out. So just getting that on there. I also do his hair in black, which I forgot, so I'll use black soot for that, which is next to his head. And then walnut stain for the, I guess the logs that are holding up the fairway. So these all cut out. You've got one die and it'll cut all three of those little pieces out. And it also adds is like little lines on it, so it adds extra texture to it, so it looks like little logs. So if you had something else you were doing, maybe you were doing a frog project or something like that, which I have actually done recently, but if you're doing something with frogs, I don't know why frogs came to mind, then you could use those as little logs, if you wanted a die cut log. So then in the die set you also get it's almost like a hillside or a water look die. It's just a thin die, and it just gives you the cut line as if it was for the water. So that's what I've done here. So with the Stormy Sky Distress Oxide, I'm using oxides for all of these, by the way, sorry. I put that as I use that for my water, and then I'm going to use weathered wood for the sky, because again I wanted this sort of more muted, moodier kind of look, not in a moody way, but just because I wanted this sort of, I don't know, like a cold winter's day and you're out fishing. I don't know why it had to be winter, but so the sky is not this bright, sunshine, it's that sort of early morning where it's maybe a little chilly and a little frosty on the ground. I clearly don't go fishing, so I have no idea if that's what happens, but I know my dad loves fishing, or loved fishing. He doesn't go anymore, but he used to love going fishing, and actually my mum used to go with him too, so I'm not sure how much she loved it, but so once I've done that, I spritzed everything with water just to give a bit of extra texture in the background, and then here I'm putting the little guy together. I forgot to film the first bit, so I didn't show filming the like putting the pail and the bucket and the fish and the little lunchbox together. I didn't realize I actually hadn't turned my camera on, so but it's very simple. Like, putting it together is very easy. Most of these only have a couple of layers, and even for the guy, it's all kind of marked up and embossed. There's embossed lines and things, so it's very simple to see. Oh, I didn't do the fish yet, so that's okay. And again, fish is so easy. It's just two pieces, and it's almost like a puzzle piece, but not, if you know what I mean. It layers just super simply. Or maybe I did have film all of it. I beg your pardon. So this is the little lunchbox. I just thought that was cute. I suppose for my dad it would have been a little fishing box, tackle box. In fact, that's probably what it is, isn't it? The little pail has its handles, and I guess actually those handles you could add in a different direction. So you could put them so they're sort of like swung down the side of the bucket if you wanted to as well. Now I went to put the hook on, and then realized, well, actually it's either the hook or it's the fish. So I obviously wanted the fish on there. Sorry, fish, but you're hooked. And then for the fairway itself, I used the grid line on my mat to sort of roughly work out where I wanted to add each of the logs, and also which side I wanted to put them on. I guess you could put them either side. You could put them on top, or you could put them underneath like I'm doing now. So I just roughly, like I say, I think I went in about 1/4 of an inch, and then just slightly sticking out the top on each side. And I did the two outer ones first, and then I just more or less eyeballed the middle so that I could then get the centered one in. I'll usually do that on anything. If I've got sort of 3 of something, I will then do the outer 2 first, get them in place, and then it's easier to line up the center one in the gap that you've got left. So that's what I did there. So for the the water and the sky, I just taped them at the back so they sort of butt together like a puzzle piece, because I cut them out of the same piece of cardstock. So I literally used that die to cut straight across so I could then sort of butt them back together. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the fairway on first and decide where I want that so that I can see the water underneath the fairway, and then I'm going to trim the cardstock around it and make it slightly smaller. This, in the end, this was just the easiest way for me to do this because I couldn't work this out. I spent ages trying to work out from the picture, you know, because you always get like a here's what to do with your dies within the kit, and I couldn't work out how they got the amount of water underneath without, you know, being at the same level as the fairway, the end of the fairways. I couldn't work it out. My brain couldn't do it. So this is just the solution I came up with. So I'm just going to trim down the cardstock right underneath the little fairway, like the little logs. So it looks like they're at the bottom. And then I'm just going to square up my card, I think. Oh yeah. And make it so that it's just slightly, so it's going to be the width of an A2, but not the height. So I think it's about 5 1/4 by 4 1/4 in the end. So it's a bit of an odd size, but it's fine. I needed it to work for the fairway, so at least you could see the water sort of, what's the word, like the waves? They don't have waves, I suppose, but the movement of the water, it would sort of appear better if I did it that way. And then for the sentiments, same thing as on the previous card, depending which order I put these in. For the Mother's Day one, I just had a whole bunch of sentiments. I actually used my, Pink Fresh Studio, hello, words. I've got a solid plate, so I actually used what would be the waste when I hot foiled the sentiments. I actually used the waste, which is like a solid blue, to get the sentiments that look like they're white on blue. Does that make sense? So when you initially do the hot foiling, you will get, in my case, I used white cardstock and then got the blue hot foiled sentiments. But with the leftovers, there was basically, when I hot foiled it onto the white cardstock again, it hot foiled the negative, if you like, onto the hot foil. So now I look like I've got a blue hot foil with white sentiments. So I had a whole bunch. I did the same thing with the Mother's Day one in the purple, and I just mixed them up for this one. It just worked out that way. So those are my sentiments that are going to go on the top of the card. Just working out where I want to add all my little die cuts now, so that I've got the best space for the sentiments, because obviously they're the main part of the card. Obviously the little fisherman dude, he is a big part of it, but I think the sentiments are what makes sense, are what they're the main focus, really, because of the words in them, which are true for my my dear daddy. So popping him on there, and for some reason, and I don't know if this is me, but he kind of leans a little bit, so I don't know if that's normal. I didn't know if I just stuck something a little wonky on there, but he looks cool. So I've got him stuck on as far over to the right as I can without it looking weird. And then I'm just sticking the little bucket on, so that's probably full of worm food. I mean, worms and stuff. You know, all that fishing stuff. And then the little, I called it a lunchbox at the beginning, but I suppose it's like a tackle box, I guess. It makes more sense when I say that. And then I'm going to use some, I think I stuck the sentiments down flat, and the word dad, I think I popped that up on some foam. do I have it in front of me? Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, so the word dad, I was just looking at the card itself. The word dad I'm going to pop up on some foam, and then the rest of them I'm going to stick down just flat to the card. Just made the most sense with what I was doing. I also have the sentiments in a specific order. It's just what made sense to me when I was putting them together. And kind of like they flowed better, if that makes sense. But there's a whole bunch of sentiments in this, in the Glimmer of the Month for March. So you can use one or two, or just one, one on the outside, one on the inside if you want. I went whole hog and used a whole bunch. How many did I use? 1, 2, 3, 4, was that 6 of them? Go big or go home, right? So I used 6 of them on there, but it made sense, and I liked the sentiments that are on here as well. So just gluing these ones, also slight gap between them, and then going with the ones that are the positive, if you like, and then using a negative one. So one with a white background and one with a blue background, and just alternating them all the way down. I'm butting them up against the edge of the card. I just thought that made sense, and just worked well because I have all that space on the left, given there's the fisherman on the right. And then that's pretty much it. It will get popped onto a white card base. Like I say, the size of this panel is, I think I said it was 5 1/4 by 4 1/4. So it's going to have a little white gap at the top and the bottom. But I actually think that works, given the sentiments have got some white in them and the rest of everything is inked and coloured. So I think it worked out quite nicely, and it just ties the whole thing together. So there you have it, guys. A very simple card to put together, really. Yes, you've got to do your hot foiling. Yes, you've got to ink all your pieces. You don't have to ink them. You can always use coloured cardstock. But this is for my dad for Father's Day when we get there, because I think that's in June or something. So I'm getting ahead of the game for once. But yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. And until next time, bye for now.